and players mob him.
But Michael Jordan is not only the best basketball player, but he's the most exciting basketball player to ever play.
Tatum fires away, pumps it in, 51 for Jason Tatum.
The Big Three NBA podcast is powered by PrizePicks and the Game Time app.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Big Three NBA podcast. I am Sherrod Blakely, and we've got live and direct from Vegas, the Boston Globe's Gary Washburn. What's up, G?
What's up, man? Yeah, it's hot out here.
Now, wait a minute. You Cali? That's
no,
normal,
it's a different,
right?
No, it's a different kind of heat out here, man. It's crazy.
It's that dry heat.
Yeah, but it's the desert. But no, everything's good, man. It's good.
Well, I'm glad things are good because hopefully today was a good day. Little Ice Cube reference. We're going to talk about Kwani Lunis, who's not with us today. We're going to save that for next week. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. For lack of Ice Cube lyrical knowledge.
It's our fault. It's our fault.
It is.
I can't blame Kwani. Like we failed her and she failed Ice Cube. So we have to we have to take a step. We have to be like the Celtics. We have to take a step back. We have to pair the salary cap. We have to get under the second apron. We've got to go.
We have to improve our player development.
Yes, we've got to work with Kwani because this can't happen again. Like this.
We saving it for next week, but we're gonna have like an Ice Cube, retribution show where she gets a chance to, basically make up for just embarrassing us all.
Yeah, what's the show when they pull the person in? Like they got problems in life, and then their family tells them, and they
like an intervention show.
Yeah, we got to have an intervention show. Yeah. Yeah, we got to have
absolutely.
We got to have
those who have just joined in. This is the Big Three NBA podcast, and we are part of the CLNS Media Network, and we're gonna just jump right into talking about the Celtics, and really, we're talking focused mainly on Summer League at this point. They won their first game over the Memphis Grizzlies. Pretty solid performance on their part in that. Jordan Walsh had 17. Hugo Gonzalez. Nope, that's the right pronunciation, right, G?
That's correct. Hugo.
Okay. Yeah, he had 12 points, 5 dimes, 4 rebounds, filled the stat sheet up a little bit. And Charles Bassey, and we'll talk a little bit more about him, had a double-double, 14 and 11. Didn't even know he was going to be in a building, let alone on the court. But first, I want us to talk a little about Jordan Walsh because that's someone that we talked about last week. Someone that we were both really, kind of looking to see him stand out a little bit. How did you think he performed?
I was really impressed with Jordan. I thought this is his third summer league, so he needs to be one of the best players on the floor at all times. Like, he's not a rookie anymore, even though he's still very young, 21 years old. He told me, by the way, he just he watched Boys in the Hood and he's watched the Friday trilogy, so I'm proud of him.
So we can test him on Ice Cube knowledge, and he just might pass.
He might be better than Kwani on the Ice Cube trivia because he watched 4 Ice Cube movies. Because I asked him, I said, I know you've been getting assignments to watch a bunch of movies that were way before your time,
right?
And he's filled the assignments. He gets an A+. But I thought he looked more comfortable. He played with rhythm and flow. He ran the floor. He hit threes. He didn't panic out there. He didn't try to do too much. And it just looked like, okay, this is a guy who might be able to compete for minutes. Like, that's the thing about it, Sherrod. Like when we first started covering the league, the dudes who came into the league were older. They were 3 years in school, 2 years max or minimum. They were ready to play in the league, most of them. And this new generation, in terms of just like the one and dones, especially second round picks, they need time to season, right? Like, should Jordan have stayed at Arkansas? Probably so, right? Maybe another year or two. If he probably comes out this year, he might be a mid-first round pick or something like that. If he stayed 2 years. So the Celtics have developed him for 2 years. Now the clock is ticking. His contract is not fully guaranteed for next year. They need to see something from him. And I just thought the opener was a good indication that, like, okay, I can be more than just an energy guy. I can knock down threes, play defense, rebound, do little things. So I was impressed with Jordan Walsh.
Yeah, and for Jordan, I think that the biggest thing is just opportunity, and he's going to get that this year. I mean, when you look at Tatum's, you're not going to be there. You look at there's a clear and undeniable void that no one has laid claim to that he could potentially put himself in the mix for. And I think you're right, Gary. I mean, at some point, he's got to start doing the little things to gain Joe Mazzulla's confidence in him. And I do think, the way he performed in Summer League, the first game at least, that was a good start for him, slowly but surely, digging his way out of, not necessarily the Mazzulla doghouse, but just getting himself closer to the penthouse. You don't got to be in, you don't got to be in a penthouse, but you should be getting closer to it. And I think this was a definite step in the right direction. Now, another guy that a lot of people, let me just be more specific. Brad Stevens was really high on is Hugo Gonzalez, who I thought he looked all right. And you look at his, even if you just went by the box score, you can see that he has the ability to contribute in a lot of different ways for the Celtics. So what were your overall impressions of what he was able to do in his first NBA action?
Well, I thought his first action was apropos, scoring on a putback, hustle, rebound, and putback to open the game. It's interesting because Hugo, he played for Real Madrid, but he didn't really play much. So we don't know what he's good at. And I don't think the Celtics you can scout a guy in the limited minutes, because I talked to a Spanish reporter yesterday who said, in Spain, they don't play the young players, obviously, in overseas, especially EuroLeague. And so if they're going to play you 10 minutes, you play 10 minutes, and that's it. It's not like Hugo's going to be playing 35 minutes for Real Madrid, especially with the teammates he had who are all established, all Europe League veterans, and a lot of guys who have played years in the NBA. So I think we're just learning about him, right? What can he do well? What he needs to work on? He hit 3 threes. That surprised me. I thought that was good. He missed 4 free throws. He was hard on himself about that after the game. But I was overall impressed. Now the question is he going to play this year? As a 19-year-old, probably not. I don't think Mazzulla is going to look to him unless he just somehow beats out, Walsh and other guys and says, okay, I'm going to give you the 9th man. You're going to be part of the second unit. I think he's going to, will he go to Maine? I don't know. Maybe so. But I do think he has skills. Okay. They got to find him a position, whether it's the 2, the 3, the 1, maybe he's got to figure some things out. But I was impressed with his enthusiasm, his effort, his game, and he didn't really panic. And I asked him after the game about, was he nervous? And he's kind of having already played in Real Madrid. And he was like, yeah, I was, but not really, because as you said, I played, he just got finished playing a little bit, being on a team that won the Spanish League Championship. So to me, I think it's going to be a development process for him. He's not a guy who is you look at him oh man, it's a total he's not a project, but he's a guy who's probably going to do his best work in 2 to 3 years, obviously, and turn heads. But I was impressed overall. We'll see his development. They're going to play him a lot during the Summer League. I don't know if he'll play all 5 games, but I was overall impressed with his feel for the game. He's got to get used to NBA physicality. And, Memphis didn't help. They put Jalen Wells on him. And I thought that was a great test, because Jalen Wells is a plus defender, all first team, all rookie. So that was a good test for him. They didn't put no, free agent on him. They literally put guys on him. A guy on him that was very, very skilled at defense. So I thought that was a great test for Hugo.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, and not so much about his play, but just the discourse before he got the summer league that he might not play. And Gary, you've seen the numbers. I mean, he was on the team and he played, but he didn't really play. I mean, we're not talking about like, ooh, he's playing like Nikola Jokic minutes, so he may not be able to be part of this other, league, or, he wasn't that type of player, didn't have that type of role. I think he's a guy that has certainly a lot of upside. And I got a feeling, Gary, that he's going to be going back and forth between Maine and the Celtics. I think that they want to make sure that he, frankly, is getting reps, actually playing the game, because I think that's the one thing about him. And you touched on this earlier. We don't really know what he can do because he really hasn't had opportunities to play. And I like the idea of him spending some time up in Maine, because Maine, we've seen enough G League games to know that it is a guard/wing league. If you're big, we don't really care what you're doing up there because you're playing with guys pretty much smaller than you. But if you are like in that 6'4", 6'7" range, damn near everyone you're dealing with is athletic. It is about your height, similar body type, bodybuilding, things like that. And they're hungry. I mean, they're hungry as you can be. And so I think we'll see him in the G League a little bit, but I think we'll see him with the Celtics too because of just the opportunities. And if I'm Jordan Walsh, I might want to bottle up what I did in this first preseason or summer league game and see if I can spread that out the rest of the summer, because Hugo is the type of dude that I think can take his spot because he plays hard and he's at that point now where he really doesn't know what he's doing, but he plays so hard he can make up for what he don't know. And I don't know if Jordan can handle that, frankly, because again, Jordan has had like third year. He's had lots of time to become that type of player, and he's been here 2+ years, and he still doesn't really have an identity on this team, or frankly, an identity in this league. He's not a 3-and-D guy. He's not a lockdown defender. He's not a great shooter, not a great slash. So what exactly is he? I think about a guy like Aaron Neesmith. After 2+ years, we kind of knew that he played hard. That was kind of his thing. He just wasn't making shots. That was literally the one thing we knew. He's not making shots, but he plays hard, gives great effort. I don't think Jordan has figured out, or frankly, the Celtics haven't figured out quite yet what you're going to get out of Jordan. But again, summer league is early, and he's got plenty of opportunities to show what he can do. Before we go any further, for those listening to the show, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast, like and leave a review. And for those watching the show on CLNS, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the Celtics All Access YouTube channel, where you can find our show and lots of other really great Celtics content. Also, please make sure to turn on your notifications so you can know the instant a new video drops. And while we are giving props to the people, such as ourselves, let's also give props to the people who help support us, folks like PrizePicks, where you can cash in on watching your favorite teams and athletes compete at this time of the year. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, and don't miss a chance to cash in while, again, watching your favorite teams and athletes compete this summer. You can mix and match players' projections from different sports, whether it's baseball, women's basketball, soccer, esports, and much, much more. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, which is America's #1 daily fantasy sports. How do you get in? It's very, very simple. You simply download the app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Now, and speaking of game, Gary, where the hell did Charles Bassey come from?
I don't know where he. I don't know.
Where he was. I'm just like, wait a minute.
I've no idea. I have no idea where he came from. Okay, and I'm looking. Okay, his resume here. Okay,
AKA Hood Research. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. So, 24 years old, out of Lagos, Nigeria. 6'10", 230. He played high school basketball in San Antonio. and also in Louisville, Kentucky. He played 3 years at Western Kentucky. Second round pick of the Sixers in 21. I remember him faintly with the Sixers as a rookie. You know, he was on their team, played a hot minute, spent a good amount of time in the G League. And, you know, he's not a guy who has a lot of experience. 113 games over 4 years, averaging 11.1 minutes, 4.3 points, 4.3 rebounds in 11 minutes. So that clip is pretty good. He actually played some 3 playoff games for the Sixers, a combined 12 minutes, but he did get in 22 for Philly. And then San Antonio, the last 3 years is kind of like a G League, running back and forth, kind of like a Neemias Queta role where, you play him here and there, spend some time in the Austin G League team. But a guy who's still 24 and obviously has a good feel for the game. This is not a guy who doesn't kind of know what he's doing out there. He was very comfortable out there. And so I was impressed. Now, obviously, Celtic Nation is, very excited.
They're ready to give him a max contract.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, exactly. They want to max him out and wonder why he didn't beat out Victor Wembanyama. But to me, he can play a role because if you look at the center position, like Celtics are like Angola. And what I mean by that is what Charles Barkley said about Angola in trouble when they played him. Celtics in trouble in the 5 position. Okay, because I did the numbers. Okay, Cornette gone. Horford, as much as Celtic
one foot out the door.
Yeah, Horford gone, man. He gone. Al ain't coming back, right? I love Al.
Al ain't walking back through that door.
No. Al will come back as a retired player, maybe get his number retired. That's question. That'll be a debate. But Al going, it's either retirement or Golden State. Okay. So now you look at Queta and you look at the kid, Amari Williams, the 2-way player. I was impressed with Amari. First of all, Amari's bigger on the floor than he looked in real life. Like, we did an interview with him last week. He looked like he's kind of tall. Then he got on the floor and he looked like a grown-ass man. So he's physically prepared, but he's going to need seasoning. He's going to need time in Maine. So who's starting center? Is it Luka Garza? Garza's 6'10". We haven't seen a lot of him. He's a guy like Bassey who has just played bits and pieces over the last 3 years. And so does he become the starting center? Do you invite Bassey to camp? Because Bassey, when he talked to us yesterday, was kind of like, I ain't really talked to nobody about no contract. I'm just here. So Bassey.
I'm just here for the lunch.
I'm just here to showcase myself. I ain't, I ain't trying to, don't give me I ain't that married to Boston yet. Like, he had this kind of don't get excited.
Ain't no rings exchange. Ain't no vows exchange.
Yeah, I ain't had no clam chowder yet, so don't trip about Boston. I'm here to play hoop. So the Celtics are obviously going to have to reach out to his representation and go, okay, we've seen enough, and we want him to come to camp. And I just think he's definitely worthy of one of the 20 spots, right? So I was impressed. I was impressed with Williams. And, we were at the Summer League practice last week, and Queta was out there working out and working on his footwork. So this is obviously a huge summer for Queta. Like, we've seen Queta be a real shot rim protector. We've seen him rebound. We've seen him play well, and we've seen him not play well and drive Joe crazy. He's got to be more consistent. So this is a huge summer for him, in my opinion. And, I think if the Celtics go with a really young, there's no, there's not a whole bunch of bigs out there that you're going to sign to a minimum deal and it's going to come in there and start and give you quality minutes. You might as well just go the hell young. So the Celtics are in trouble in that position, but it's not trouble like they have a bunch of bad players. They just have a bunch of unproven players. And I think Bassey is one of those guys who can come in and compete for minutes, compete for a spot, and we'll see, how Queta reacts to that, what Garza has to show, because none of these guys have played extensive NBA minutes. None of them. Bassey, none of these guys. Like Garza has played 120 games over 4 years because he can't, he hasn't beat anybody out. So we have no idea who's going to be the starting center on opening night. That's the thing. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the coolest thing about what the Celtics have going on is that very point, Gary. We don't know. So it's going to come down to who can compete, who can step their game up, who can justify being in that starting lineup. I mean, based on what we know, Queta seems like the likely choice, but it's not a given, especially if, Charles Bassey can basically, he's like that dude that you pick up, when you need a spot, we need one. We need someone on the sideline. Yeah, you. And that turns out to be like the dude that dominates for your squad. Bassey, he's got some skills, but to me, I think with him and like all these guys, can you do it consistently? Can you play at a level that gives your coach confidence that they can count on you beyond just 5, 6, 7 minute spurts? It remains to be seen if any of these guys can fill that bill, but they are all going to get that opportunity. And speaking of opportunity, one of the guys that I know you and I, we've talked about, and really the world has been talking about, is Mr. Cooper Flagg, the pride of New England. Everyone keeps telling me, that's he'll be a Celtic in like 7 years. He's on a 7-year plan in San Antonio. But the thing about Cooper, didn't play particularly well in that first game, which, and Gary, we've seen enough to know that the biggest adjustment that players have to make from college or international ball to the NBA is the speed of the game. And I was just curious, Gary, we're going to talk about his most recent game, but first I want to talk about that first game. And when you saw him just kind of struggle a little bit, did you feel the struggles were more a physical thing or just mental? And by mental, I just mean adjusting to the speed of the game type stuff.
Yeah, I thought he was pressing a little bit in that opener, missing shots. He got a good amount of mid-range shots. He missed those. The skill set is there. Like I think last year what we did, we saw like Bronny, right? And Bronny looked like he did not belong on the floor in Summer League. This year he does. He has definitely made progress, LeBron James Jr. Flagg looked right away like, okay, he's a legit NBA player. He's the best player, probably, if not one of the best players on the floor. And I'm talking about guys he's playing with that are 3 years in that know the game. And so for Cooper to be the best player on the floor in his first Summer League game, that's asking an awful lot from any pick. I don't care if you're number 1 overall. We honestly saw how like last year, Alex Sarr looked terrible in Summer League, and he actually had a very good second half of the season for the Wizards and made the All-Rookie team. Rasassier from Atlanta had his moments, but so it's Stephon Castle obviously had his moments and ended up winning Rookie of the Year. So Flagg will be completely fine. I didn't look at him and go, he just missed shots. And so I thought that first game, almost sellout crowd. The place was rocking. They had Cooper Flagg T-shirts out. Damn. Already, right? So
our people are creative. I'm sure my cousin, my uncle's out there selling T-shirts. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what the Blakeleys do. So they had Cooper T. So there's a lot of pressure on him, and so you give him a break there, get him used to the atmosphere. And so I thought he was fine. Some people were like, oh, he didn't do well. He missed shots. You can't go off shooting percentage at this Summer League. Some shots don't go in. You look at the moves. You look at the footwork. You look at how he's faring against NBA competition. You look at, is he getting to his spots? Physically, athletically, can he compete? You're looking at those things as opposed to like, oh, he went 15 for 20. As you know, Sherrod, we've seen. I remember, back in the day, I remember Marco Bellinelli.
Oh, wow.
He scored 41 points. I was there. Scored 41 points in like his second Summer League game, and everybody thought he was going to be Manu, Steph, and
Edit for Naismith, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Manu, Steph, and Allen Iverson all in one. Like he literally was just knocking down. He scored 41 points, and we were, oh my God, this guy's going to be great. Bellinelli had a solid career, but we had to pump the brakes on that. So don't go off points scored as much, but go off where you get your shots, running the floor, how you fare against more physical defenders, a different game than college. College, as you know, is kind of over officiated. There's just so many. The refs can't have complete control of the game. The NBA, they're gonna let you play. So I thought he did fine. If he hits 3 or 4 more shots, nobody's saying anything.
Yeah, and the thing that I was looking for, and you touched on it a little bit, and I think it's just the absolute, it's the essence of whether you're going to hit the ground running or you're going to need a little bit of a build up to get there, and that is getting to your spots at both ends of the floor. Are you able to be in the right place defensively so that your coach isn't looking down the bench at somebody who can actually contest shots? Are you able to get to your spots as a shot taker? Because he's going into a situation in Dallas where, his numbers, I don't think are going to be great because of the talent around him. It's not going to be because of any shortcoming on his part. He is literally on a team that, if you look at the number one picks the last 5-10 years, I don't think there's been one that has walked into a better situation to win from day one than he has and not have to necessarily be the catalyst of that success. He really, at his first year or two, he needs to be just more of a high level playing cog. I mean, how many times do guys become the number one pick and join a roster that has not 1, not 2, but 3 future Hall of Famers? Probably all 3 are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers at that. And you got some young, guys at that wing position who are good players. You're going to be better than them, but they're still good players. It's the perfect storm for him to have a great season, even if his numbers may not necessarily reflect that. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to, and again, for those who weren't sure if he was going to be fine, take a look at you have to look at what he did in his second game. And Gary, I know you were there for that. Had 31 points. What were other than making shots? Were there any other kind of subtle differences that you saw from game 1 to game 2 that kind of speak to his growth a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, he took his time. He wasn't as rushed as he was in the first game. He knocked down a couple of threes. And, how I put this, I think people might underestimate Cooper Flagg's dog and his, he'll dunk on you in a minute. Don't take the being from Maine as he's a nice kid. I'm sure he's a very nice kid off the floor, but he's trying to take your head off. And and I think I'm sure he is through his AAU career. And even at Duke, he had to prove. People looked at him and go, "Where are you from?" "Oh man, ain't no ballers up there." "What? I'm from Philadelphia. I'm from Detroit. I'm from Cleveland. I'm from whatever. I'm from
Syracuse,
Miami."
Wherever, yeah,
Syracuse. Yeah, throw that in there. And you ain't got no game. And I'm sure he's had to prove to many people and quiet many people up that he has the game. So for me, I was very impressed with his kind of the dog. He's a competitor and he wants to win. And I've talked to many people about him who said he makes winning plays. And I think even the first game, Sherrod blocked a shot of DJ Stewart, the Duke kid, who actually was in the Celtics on Maine for a few years, and he blocked his shot. He set up a 3-pointer from Ryan Nimhard, the younger brother of Andrew, that put them ahead for good. And that was one of those winning plays that I think that people are referring to. He makes winning plays. He just wants to win the game, and I just think we're going to see that desire. And then coached by Jason Kidd and really good staff out there in Dallas. Like you said, I mean, it's funny, right? You mentioned all the Hall of Fame. There's 2 other number 1 overall picks on that damn team in AD and Kyrie. So he's not even the only first overall pick. He's the third. So you talk about depth, and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. They signed our friend D'Angelo Russell. We'll see what he does in a winning situation. But
D'Lo.
And D'Lo was a second overall pick. So he got and Kyrie's coming back from his ACL, and AD. You hope that he's completely healthy entering the season. So there's a lot of hope in Dallas, like you said. we're in Vegas. I can go look at the odds for Rookie of the Year, and I'm sure Cooper's probably going to be tied with, but it's going to be somebody from pretty much a bad team because they're going to get a lot of minutes. They're going to get a lot of points. It's going to be, will it be our friend Ace Bailey in Utah, maybe, who's going to be able to get a lot
Ace
of minutes?
Put up some numbers.
Yeah, he's going to be putting up, he's going to get his FGAs up.
Yeah.
I would probably bet on maybe an Ace Bailey who putting up the numbers and maybe getting his team more wins like Stephon Castle did last year. But to me, I'm thoroughly impressed with Flagg, and I think it's only going to get better.
Yeah. I mean, he's real. I mean, he's real, and I think the first time that people really started to recognize just how real he was when he was on that select team that competed against Team USA, and he was serving some cats who making 6, 7, 8 figures, 7, 8, 9 figures actually. So he's going to be really good. But the thing that he needs more than anything else is just reps, experience, and just getting a better feel for the game. Because, I mean, Summer League, it's great that he's showing what he can do, but we all know that, you can't put too much stock in Summer League play. You have to look at how guys are just utilizing this experience as almost like their NBA starter kit, knowing that the real package is going to come in October, November, December. Then you hit that wall. Can you get over that wall and get back to where you were maybe at the start of the season when you were playing really well? So Cooper's got to go through all of that, and I think he will. He'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. Even if he doesn't get Rookie of the Year, I still think Dallas is going to surprise a lot of people at how well they performed this year, and he certainly will be part of that process. Before we get out of here, Gary, for those of you listening to the show, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast and like and leave a review. And for those watching the show on CLNS, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the CLNS Media and Celtics All Access YouTube channel, where you can find our show and lots of other amazingly awesome, great Celtics content. And one more thing, please make sure to turn on those notifications so you know the instant a new video drops. And Gary, you got anything people should need to know about coming in the Globe?
Just more Celtic content. Was told a nice little nugget that you read the paper about Dame Lillard and maybe his potential to come to Boston.
So that's a tease. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking a page out of your book, a tease on a podcast. I don't know what's going on with me right now.
Yes. Kwani is going to be so happy. I'll add it to the list of Ice Cube lyrics that we got to go over with her.
Oh God, we got to do it. We got to do an intervention.
Yes.
We got to. Yes. Anyway.
Okay, so you got a little Dame nugget coming.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, that. But also, the Celtics over the next couple of days. The governor's meetings on Tuesday, and the Celtics sale might be officially approved. We'll see about that. And there might also be some news coming out of that meeting about potential expansion and whether Seattle and another city, potentially here, Las Vegas, will be on the list, or whether there will be choices made, or whether they'll just accept applications. I think they're probably going to open up to accepting applications. I don't think they're going to just come out with cities, but obviously the folks here in Las Vegas, they got football, they're going to get baseball, and now they want hoop. And they're very interested in getting a team here and building not any one of it's Vegas. They got to do it big. It's not going to be any one of these arenas we see now, even not Thomas and Mack or not T-Mobile that we've seen are quality arenas. They're going to build a palace. Basically,
you're trying to be Steve Ballmer-like, huh?
Yeah, for a new team. So we'll see those updates over the next few days. So obviously, NBA news before things kind of shut down and go dark for a while, and we'll find out where Al Horford's going, or if he's going back home to be with his family.
Sounds good. All that and then some on the Boston Globe, being brought to you by our good friend Gary Washburn. And we'll obviously that'll be food for thought that we'll dive into here on the Big 3 NBA podcast. For Gary Washburn, I'm Sherrod Blakely, and this is the Big 3 NBA podcast. We out.